Hello everyone, welcome to the U.S. Immigration News. The immigrants have started feeling the heat of President Trump's presidency. The deportation, ICE raids, and executive orders are all creating significant challenges for immigration under President Donald Trump's second term, particularly when it comes to the delays and denials experienced at USCIS. During Trump's first term, we witnessed a drastic shift in how immigration cases were handled. USCIS saw a sharp rise in delays, with processing time slowing down by an average of 46%, and the rate of denials surged by 37%. These delays weren't just minor inconveniences, they caused real harm to families, workers, and communities who were already in the immigration system, waiting for approvals or decisions on their cases. Now, with Trump back in office, many of these policies, designed to slow down or deny immigration cases, could make a return. So, in this video, we're going to dive into the specific policies that contributed to these delays and denials and how they might come back into play in his second term. If you are interested in this topic, stick around until the end of the video. If you are liking this video, please hit the bell button, subscribe, and like it so that you may get updates straight to your smartphone. Now let's get into the video and get started. During Trump's first term, one of the biggest challenges that many applicants faced was the severe slowdown in the USCIS processing times. Under his administration, we saw dramatic increases in waiting times for almost all types of immigration cases. Whether you were applying for a family-based visa, a work visa, a green card, or even citizenship, processing times became longer and longer. In fact, processing delays were so severe that, by the time Trump left office, the average wait time for many immigration benefits had more than doubled. For instance, the wait time for a work visa, like the H-1B, stretched from a few months to a year or more. And for green card applications, some applicants waited 3 to 5 years before they even had their cases processed. It's no surprise that many felt the system was purposefully being slowed down to discourage immigration. One of the key reasons for these delays was Trump's so-called streamlining of the immigration process. But in reality, this was a mask for making the process more difficult. He imposed stricter rules, longer forms, and additional requirements that caused more cases to be sent back for additional paperwork or further investigation. The effect? Thousands of immigrants were left waiting, unable to move forward with their lives or even plan for the future. And this created a massive backlog at USCIS. One of the most controversial aspects of Trump's policies was the scrapping of the deference policy, something that had allowed applicants to get approvals for renewals or extensions without having to go through the entire process from scratch. The change meant that every case, no matter how simple, had to be treated as a completely new application. For instance, renewing your H-1B visa or applying for a green card renewal required you to submit all documents again, undergo a new round of security checks, and wait even longer. This led to delays as the USCIS team was bogged down by mountains of paperwork. What was once a routine renewal process was now a multi-step, multi-month ordeal. These delays were not just a minor inconvenience, they had real, life-altering consequences for people and families. We heard stories of workers waiting for their H-1B visas, people desperate for green cards, and families separated for years because their immigration applications were stuck in the system. These delays meant missed job opportunities, lost wages, and, in many cases, a complete disruption to the applicant's lives. One of the most frustrating aspects of these delays was the complete lack of communication from USCIS. Many applicants reported that their cases were left in limbo, with no updates or explanations from the Immigration Service. This left applicants in a state of uncertainty, with no way to plan ahead or make decisions about their future. They felt as though they were ensnared in a bureaucratic maze. Now, let's talk about denials. These were another huge challenge under Trump's administration. One of the first things that Trump did when he came to power was implement a zero-tolerance policy toward immigration fraud. This meant that every small issue on an application, from a minor typo to an incomplete document, could result in an immediate denial. Under this policy, USCIS officers were told to deny cases outright rather than give applicants a chance to fix the problem or provide additional evidence. This shift was drastic. Previously, if an applicant missed a document or made an error, they would typically get a request for additional evidence, RFE, giving them the chance to correct the mistake. However, under Trump's administration, RFEs shifted from being the norm to more of an exception. The result? denials skyrocketed. And the most significant part about these denials was that many of them seemed arbitrary. For example, under Trump's policies, cases would be denied for reasons like missing a single signature or failing to provide a document that wasn't even listed as required. There were no second chances or opportunities to appeal. Once a denial came through, it was final. This left many applicants in limbo and added even more frustration to an already broken system. One of the most notorious examples of these stricter denials was the public charge rule. Under this rule, applicants were required to demonstrate that they wouldn't be dependent on government assistance. But what made this rule even more controversial was how it expanded the definition of what counted as public assistance. For example, Medicaid, food stamps, and housing assistance were included in the new definition, even if the applicants never used these benefits. What this meant for applicants was simple: if you had a low income, didn't have significant assets, or received public assistance, you were more likely to be denied. This was a devastating blow for many immigrants. Not only were they already dealing with the stress of navigating the immigration process, but now they had to worry about being labeled a public charge. And here's where the problem with delays and denials truly compounds, because these policies weren't just about making life harder for immigrants. They created a system where people who might have otherwise qualified were now left without options. Immigrants were being denied on technicalities, forced to wait months for simple renewals, and subjected to a system that seemed designed to push them out rather than welcome them in. As we look ahead, it's clear that the future of USCIS under Trump could look much the same, or even worse. We can expect policies that push for further restrictions on immigration, possibly even making it harder to get a green card or citizenship. And, as we've seen before, delays and denials will likely be the norm for anyone trying to navigate the immigration system. If you're currently in the midst of the immigration process, it's crucial to remain informed, handle your paperwork meticulously, and prepare for potential delays. It's also worth considering legal assistance to ensure your application doesn't get delayed or denied over small technical issues. That's all we have for this bulletin. The U.S. Immigration News Channel provides all necessary visa information and procedures for your U.S. immigration journey. It is important to understand the United States immigration processing steps, visa application requirements, processing times, forms, fees, and more. We will continue to provide all information about U.S. visitor visas, such as B1 and B2, work visas such as L1A, L1B, and H1B, student visas, green cards, immigrant visas, EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, and EB5, and family immigrant visas. Thank you for visiting us today, and we'll see you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to the channel for more U.S. immigration update videos.